Hey, true believers, Chris Mack coming at you today with Shazam issue 1. And this book was actually fun for the most part. There's some parts where, if you've read Shazam comics through the years, you're going to kind of be like, okay, we're treading this water again, etc., so forth. But nonetheless, opening up and seeing Billy Batson just wildly riding a dinosaur was absolutely entertaining. Now, before we dive into this, let's read Meet the Captain, Chapter 1. This is Mark Waid and Mora doing the storytelling, Alejandro Sanchez doing the colors, Troy Peteri doing the letters, and there's everyone else working on the book. And I'm not 100% sure. Please let me know down in the comments. I cannot remember for the life of me who created Captain Marvel and the Marvel family. Now, you come to find out that this was a dinosaur that was with his family. They crash landed on Earth, and he just kind of went a little crazy. And it's just funny to see this poor giant T-Rex just wrapped, upside down in this net. And then, Billy takes it back to his parents. And this is where it got a little silly, but this is where you have to kind of let that suspension of belief go, because he's sitting there having giant tea with this T-Rex family. And it's like, my spouse brews the finest beverage in the galaxy. Now, one thing I will say here, over on TikTok, I've been following this independent comic creators, and their brand is called Bad Ink Studios. And what I like particularly is they do a lot of lettering tutorials. And it's just nice to see how they say, you get the word balloons, and then if you kind of add a rigidness around it, you can kind of see that they're not exactly speaking like a regular character like Shazam, for example. So you kind of get this more rumble in the voice type thing, or if they add ice to kind of either say like they're chilly, or they're just talking to you very deadpan because they could be mad at you or just do not like you type situation. So last couple of weeks I've been learning a lot from these creators. So check them out on TikTok, Bad Ink Studios. Moving on. The dinosaur, this part made me laugh. He goes, "It's distilled from genuine snarl droppings. How does it taste?" "Oh, for my own good, my mouth refuses to tell me." "Oh, there it is." "Well," and then they go, "Well, great. Where are my manners, honey? Bring out the Squidlack biscuits." Oh, God. And you gotta remember that even though Shazam, when he's the hero, Captain Marvel, he's a full-grown adult, but he still has the mindset of, a 15-year-old boy. So he's trying to remember to have his manners and be a different type of person that, is expected of a superhero. And then, of course, what I like is for those people that may have never read Shazam, they give you a quick overview of how he got his powers from the wizard, what the acronym of his name is, which, if you guys want to screenshot that may or may not be a future trivia question down the road at one of our events. So I'm just saying, do your homework. Now, I like how Marvel here is talking about how the Rock of Eternity is sort of his place now. He uses that as a quote-unquote fortress of solitude. And it's where he brings his stuff. My sister Mary calls it an absolute mess. She's fussy that way. So here I can see where he gets his inspirations from, both Batman and Superman. It's just a really neat idea. And then he gets a little meta where he goes, "Of course, I may have done a little remodeling since the wizard handed me the keys. This is where I come when I want to store some awesome trophies, polish my combat skills, train my muscles, practice my coordination, invulnerable ears, do some intense superhero research," which this is the old school. I cannot for the life of me remember the actor's name, but this predates the show that he's watching, even though it's in color sort of in here. This was the original Batman serial. This predates Adam West, but I cannot remember who the actors of Batman and Robin were at that time. So a little meta, and he goes, "And in general, live the good life. It's not just my place, though. Thanks to the wizardy door in my bedroom closet, I share it with my foster family." And here, I don't want to give this away, but they talk about how why he's called the Captain, because you can't say I'm Shazam because he'll turn into Billy Batson. So it's a nice way of saying he's Captain Marvel without using the Marvel part, because initially when Fawcett Comics way back in the day had this IP, it was Captain Marvel. DC bought Fawcett Comics. That's how they acquired Shazam. And then around that time, Marvel had a Captain Marvel. So they battled for the name. Marvel won, and that's why the book was just called Shazam. But it's counterintuitive because he can't say the word. So I like that they're at least showing some ways here in this modern book why they're calling him Captain. It's interesting. Now, there's a big event that just happened recently. Where the hell is it? Hold on a second. And of course, it has to be another event. Right here, as seen in the Lazarus Planet event, which I'm not going to waste my time on. But basically, Shazam is unable to share his powers with the rest of his family, so he no longer has the Marvel family. And he's even saying, Billy's taking it in stride, but I could see that it's bugging him. And so, there's that. At least we're reintroduced to Freddie Freedman. And again, talking about how his dual life, he goes, if I could be the world's mightiest mortal, which is fire, why would I ever turn back into a kid? I'll tell you why. It's the wisdom of Solomon. People forget that Solomon wasn't all that smart. He was wise. Big difference. Solomon's power doesn't make me a genius. It helps me see my way out of the super problems. Upside. But it also means that between crises, there's a tiny voice constantly whispering in my ear that says stuff like, eat more vegetables, or get a good night's sleep, or cut down on the screen time, which gets really old really fast. And you can just see how he's just porking about, like, whatever. So Billy, I'm able to be more myself, make all my own choices, not feel responsible all the time. That said, Billy can't fly. And I love how when he's captain, he talks about Billy in the third person and vice versa. Here he goes, Billy always feels heavy and slow and as graceful as a three-legged buffalo. So it's an eternal trade-off. So I love how it just shows the duality of his nature. So it's a real good way for new readers to get into the book. And it shows why he's a hero. He says he doesn't have, he goes here, I remind you, no one on the old wizard's list of contacts had keen eyes or ears. I can only act on what I can see or hear. So I start lifting as much rubble as possible, trying to save these people in this collapse. But this is what happens is he's busting butt. People are saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. But all this talk that we've gotten through the book about how he tries to balance being a hero, also being a kid, and how he enjoys both aspects of it. She goes, how can I ever thank you? And just look at the tonal change in his face. Well, since you asked. And now going back to what I was talking about a moment ago about dialogue, see how when he's just talking, it's regular. You can get the hell away from me, you pathetic, stinking cow. What the front door just happened here? Now, the Shazam series, am I going to continue with it? I would like to see what's making Shazam act like a jerk, because it gets worse. And towards the end, he goes, what did I just do? So he's just taking some actions that are going to have some serious repercussions and consequences. And I'd like to see where that's at, but I don't know if this is enough to drag me into the story as a first issue, because there wasn't a whole lot in terms of like action or plot buildup, which I can understand. I feel like books like this where they're trying to reintroduce a reader to a character to bring them in, I feel like that should have been a 0 issue and then 1 start all the main stuff. Kind of like how when they originally introduced Batman way back in the day, they didn't take the time to, do beats of I'm Bruce Wayne, blah, 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 blah. It was automatic murder mystery, the bat's on the case, and it's not until the last panel that it's revealed in that, Detective Comics 27, that Bruce Wayne is Batman, where he's coming out of the cave through the bookcase or whatever it is. And I just kind of feel like, yeah, okay, Shazam's an older property. A lot of people know him, they want it, but again, the reintroduction should have been a 0 issue. Kind of like how Jeff Johns did in the Justice League one when they did in the New 52, when they did the 0 issue, and they kind of did the backstory of how he became Shazam and how he was sort of a young punk, etc., so forth. And then the book continued and he knew more about Shazam. And I just kind of feel like that's what this should have been. Nonetheless, harmless, fun reading. Can't knock it for that. And at least builds you up to make you want to read issue 2. If you guys are reading the Shazam series, let me know if I should continue or if it's not worth it. I had fun. I hope you guys did too. And if you've enjoyed what you've read, please first and foremost support your local comic shop and pick up a copy or wherever it is you like to grab your comics and action figures. And if you've enjoyed this review, we really would appreciate if you take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little Shazam bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys get notified, come to the channel, and we love talking with you and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments below or our social media pages, which I will make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.